Good afternoon, ladies. We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us. My name is Erika Wibbels, and I'm with Nebraska Department of Education. We're going to talk about our new program called Walk to Unlock Nebraska. And I have Debs over here from O'Neill. They graciously piloted for us this last summer, so she's going to come up and chat with us for a bit too. So just to get you started and understand the development and why we created Walk to Unlock, I work in the Office of Coordinated Student Support Services, and our big role is working with the whole school, whole community, whole child model and this little wheelhouse. Have anyone heard of that, seen that? Raise your hand. Yeah, good. Okay. So really our focus with this whole school, whole community, whole child and our office is to support those services that kiddos need so that they can behave in class and so that they can achieve academics. So we know that they come as that whole person. And if we're not taking care of those immediate needs, they're less likely to be able to behave and to achieve academically. And so as we go around that circle, they're really small, so I'll read them for you. But we cover nutrition services, social emotional learning, school safety, physical activity, mental health, health services, family engagement, community involvement, employee wellness, 21st century CLCs. And so anything in this gamut is what our office supports. And with that, this old program, Walk Through Nebraska History, was brought to our office. So this Walk Through Nebraska History was created in the 1990s with the Department of Education, DHHS, History Nebraska, and some others as a history program, as well as physical activity. And so they would accumulate miles of exercise to be able to move to the next checkpoint. And all of the checkpoints were based on the history markers that History Nebraska has throughout our state. Well, it wasn't really getting utilized anymore. It wasn't tech savvy and engaging for the kids. So it got brought to our office, and then the pandemic happened. And so we all know crazy things happen there, but we also know that kids went to virtual learning. And so that is where we really thought, hey, we can revamp the old Walk Through Nebraska history program, engage the students, make it online, and broaden the perspective of what we're educating those kiddos on. And so with the collaboration of these partners, you can see Nebraska Tourism, Farm Bureau Foundation, Midwest Dairy, Nebraska Game and Park, Nebraska Public Media, and we kept history in there as well. Walk to Unlock was created. And so the kiddos, when they engage in this, are getting a very wide perspective of what is in our state of Nebraska. To do a big picture overview, Nebraska, Walk to Unlock Nebraska is an interactive map. It's a website with an interactive map. Over the next 2 years, we'll build out 4 trails that kids can virtually travel. So they will still, we've kept the physical activity component. They will still accumulate exercise to get to the checkpoint. And then once they've hit that checkpoint, there is curricular materials for K through 8th grade. And so we've grade spanned it K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8. And so there are materials at each checkpoint. There may not be something for all grade spans, but we try to have at least 2 grade spans covered at each checkpoint. The lessons really depend on what the stop is and who our partner is for that stop. And so broad picture, we have a lot of history, agriculture, and nature stops. And what is provided would be maybe a lesson plan, a video, a virtual field trip. It really just depends on the stop at hand. The nice thing is, if you implement the program and there's not a lesson for your age kids, you can still do the overview and find out some basic information about the stop and then keep moving along. Or if it doesn't fit into your schedule to do a lesson at that stop and you're going to hit the next checkpoint and do a lesson, that works too. So really you can customize this into your club to best suit you guys. So we've really left it open for your customization. And then we also want the program to be able to be used as a physical activity program for staff wellness. So if any of you guys do staff wellness challenges, I encourage you to think about this. You, of course, wouldn't use the curriculum, but you could create teams of teachers and see who can accumulate exercise, which team can accumulate the exercise first to complete the Northern Trail. And then also I was going to use my, there we go. I was going to use my pointer. Sorry about that. And we also are wanting to encourage family and community engagement with this as well. So I'll dive into that a little bit more as we get through the presentation. So why implement Walk to Unlock? I talked about that WISC model, that circle that you saw. And so we're really big on taking care of those kiddos. And so Walk to Unlock does a really good job of that. It integrates that physical activity. We have Midwest Dairy and Farm Bureau Foundation who hit agriculture, which then of course hits nutrition. And then mental health, we've got some Go Noodle videos that are calming, and then also the physical activity aspect that hits that mental health. And then there's an opportunity to get the families involved and engaged and the community involved and engaged with accumulating exercise outside of the program. Also, it is a great way to introduce goal setting and create a team atmosphere in your club. And so this can be to whatever level of kids you have and how much you want to integrate it. But really, completing the Northern Trail or whatever trail you're going to complete is the big long-term goal. And then you have short-term goals of hitting the next marker and making kids realize that a really big goal can be done at bite-sized pieces and not overwhelming. And so if you have the younger kids, it's really simple, you know, something like we've just talked about. If you have older kids, you can definitely integrate SMART goals and make them really think, okay, we need to get X amount of miles by this time. That means I am responsible for X amount of miles. And you can help them start formulating those SMART goals. It creates a team atmosphere, right? A lot of things are competitive and that is hard. But we really want this to be a collaborative thing where kids are excited and cheering each other on and encouraging kids to get those miles and bringing a positive aspect to physical activity, because a lot of physical activity kids know are sports, which is competitive. And so then that can get discouraging and then kids don't want to be physically active. So that's another big push. Of course, we're enhancing the kids' learning about what is in our state, making them outside of their bubble, right? Everyone may know their community, but do the people in the west part of the state know what's going on in the east side and vice versa? Or if you're from the country, do you know what happens in the cities? Or maybe you live there, but you really don't know the history. You know, one of our stops on the Northern Trail is the Cowboy Trail. And so kids may have heard about the Cowboy Trail. They may have biked it, but do they know the history? And do they know that it used to be a railroad? And, you know, the story along why it no longer exists. So really just giving them a broader picture of just the basic knowledge. And then our physical activity aspect of the program, we know studies have shown that physical activity increases academic performance and reduces negative behaviors, which we're all for, right? Especially in the after school setting when they've had a long day and who knows what has happened to them before they get to you, right? So physical activity has numerous benefits. Unfortunately, 76% of our kids are not getting the recommended 60 minutes of physical activity a day that the US guidelines recommends. And so if we can help get them some physical activity in their day, we see a lot of these benefits. And so they go all the way from physical benefits of strengthening muscles, controlling weight, strong bones, more into the mental side, increases your decision making and attention. Hallelujah, right? lowers tension and anger, reduces anxiety and depression, improves self-esteem. And so you see a huge gamut if we can just implement some physical activity. So it's going to benefit them and it's going to benefit you guys because they're going to behave a little bit better, make better choices, right? So it's a win-win. Now we'll transition to thinking about implementing the Walk to Unlock program. And so, like I said, it's really customizable for whatever works for your club. And so things to consider is the duration of the program. How long do you want to run the program? Do you want to do it 8 weeks? Do you want to do it 6 weeks? What is your goal with it? Which then also will feed into how many days a week do you want to run the program? Do you want to run it once a week, twice a week? Also, are you doing it club wide? Are you doing it as an elective club where only certain kids sign up and want to do it? The Northern Trail that we have published right now is 1,100 miles. So having to do a little bit of that pre-math of like, okay, if I only want to do this once a week, how many kids do I need and how many miles is realistic that they're going to get? And so thinking through some of that logistic pieces is you'll want to consider. And then also how you're going to do the physical activity. I shouldn't have abbreviated that. Sorry. PA in my world means physical activity, and the lesson portion. So are you going to have everyone do both? Are you going to account physical activity every day, but only do the lessons on certain days when you hit that? So what do you want that piece of it to look like? Another element in that is that if you have a lot of clubbers who you want to do this and you don't want to move through it super quickly, you are able to do a league play. And so the league play, you're able to create teams. So it may be teams of 5 to 10 kids or however many you need for that ratio, right? That when we're deciding this stuff, that's how you'll decide how many you want on your team. And so each team will be achieving miles to go to the next checkpoint. So instead of 20 kids all working to get to checkpoint A, you'd have 4 groups of 5 kids and their miles would only count for their team to get to checkpoint A. Okay. And so when you do league play, not everyone might not all hit that spot by the time you do the lesson, but it should be pretty close to hitting equal. So that's definitely an option and adds a little competitivity if you want some of that added. Other thoughts about integrating Walk to Unlock is field trips. So this program, they do all the physical activity with you guys. And so you can control where they do that, where and how they do that physical activity. There is an option to do the bonus miles. So they have a bonus tracker sheet they can take home and then turn back in if they went on a walk or a bike ride or whatever they did with their family. And so the physical activity can be beyond walking. Our name's a little bit misleading, but any type of physical activity counts. And we have a tracker within our website that does it all for you. So for instance, if you take the kids out to play on the playground, there's a playground drop down that you can pick. And then you can say, I had 20 kids out there playing for 15 minutes and it will show you how many miles and it will log that for you. So you don't have to do any of that. But let's say you take them to the track. Like I know Deb this summer took them to the track and they were walking laps. Well, then you can put in the miles too. So if you know exactly if every kid walked a mile, then you could put that in. But there's 30 plus activities. So it ranges from physical activities and sports to just like yard work or shoveling. So various things can count that the kiddos can do at home or with you guys. So lots of choices for physical activity, but that physical activity happens however you guys want it to based on kind of your goals. So physical activity happens on site or at home. And then the traveling on the trail is all virtual, right? You guys don't actually go to these stops. You travel there, you hear overview, and you have some lesson content. But you can integrate physical field trips, right? If there's something close to you, there's also virtual field trip options. I have a whole list of them that correlate with our stops. And so you could do that too. So that's another piece that you can integrate as you wish. And then the family integration and bonus miles, I mentioned that earlier, but that's definitely a piece where you can get more miles. And if you want to track the parents, if you wanted to have the bonus sheet be for the full family, that's really up to you on how quickly you want to get through the miles and what kind of, structure you want to set up. Oh, perfect. I was going to freak out a little bit, but no big deal. This is what our website looks like. So within our Northern Trail that we have published, there's 28 checkpoints. This right here is Smith Falls. And so this is an example of a checkpoint. It has the title. It has a little paragraph overview. This really small, unless you have great eyes, says the town and the county. So we're working on some geography, helping them know where things are, which then correlates with Google Maps. And so Google Maps then puts a pinpoint right where you're at. So you can open that up and then you can show them where you guys are compared to where that is. And then the other comparison piece is population. And so that was a request of O'Neill too. Those kiddos wanted to know, how big is this town that this is in compared to us? And so it really puts things in perspective for those kiddos. So we've added population on there as well. Over here on this side, you can see each checkpoint of the 28 checkpoints have different resources. And so these will vary between checkpoints, but they all have a Go Noodle video. How many have heard of Go Noodle? Oh, you guys are rock stars. I love it. Okay. So, they all have a Go Noodle video that you can play. Of course, those minutes can count to your journey. So use that. And then they have different resources. So this one has a video. Any of the videos have the duration listed, so you know what you're getting into. And then this one happens to have 2 different lesson plans for 2 different grade spans. And so you can download those. So you're either going to have a video link, a download link, or like a link to a website if it happens to be that. Okay. No. I'm supposed to click and you're supposed to see another page. No, that's on this. Just a minute. Sorry, guys. Well, let me just hop over to this screen, okay? Because I wanted to show you this, and I'm not sure what happened to this, but here is our website, and then here are the 4 trails that we'll be building out. So here's your Northern Trail. That's been published. We're next working on this shorter trail and thinking of this maybe more for the staff wellness or families if they want to do it, or if you have smaller groups of kids, because it will be less miles, and there will be less miles between each tracker. So we're trying to keep that about 15 to 20 miles between each tracker here. Some of these, especially out west, how many of you are from out west? You know, right? There's a lot of land and not a lot of markers, right? And so some of those jaunts, I think one of them was like 90, which is a jaunt. Most of them, I would say, are closer to 30 to 40 between checkpoints. There's a few checkpoints that are pretty dang close, that are only like 10 or 15, but most checkpoints are 30 to 40 on the Northern Trail. This trail will be a little bit shorter, more closer to 15. And then this will come out this spring, summer. And then these next 2 trails will come out next school year. I will show you when I click on here. So you can see the Northern Trail here, all the marker checkpoints that the kiddos will travel to. And then as you're here, you'll see the stop and you'll be able to view that page, and then you can access what I was just showing you before. Okay. So then there's all that information there. I will switch back to my PowerPoint now. Actually, quiz time anyway. So I was going to have to switch out of my PowerPoint. So it's after lunch and I know how y'all are. You ate too much because it was good food, right? Or more than you normally would for lunch, for sure me. So stand up, move away from your chair. You've all heard of Go Noodle. So you'll all be experts. How many have used the Go Noodle quiz videos? Anyone? No. Yay. Okay. I'm introducing you to something new. We're all going to do this. I'll do this. Okay. It's going to tell us what to do. We're going on a field trip. Can we hear the volume? Oh. I don't, they have so many hookups. This is, okay. It's going to tell us what to do. This would be more fun if we had volume, but I don't know that I'm tech savvy enough. Are any of you tech savvy? Do you know how to get volume in both the online world and here? No, no one wants to volunteer. Okay, I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. Open volume mixer. Okay, well, here we go, guys. We'll do it without volume, I guess. Okay, you're running. You're going right. You're going right. Question. Walk to Unlock Nebraska will have blank trails over the next 2 years. A10, B4, C5, D3. Which is it? Oh, there was a lot of answers. B, is that what I heard? B, yes, 4. Okay, here we go. Run, duck, run, jump, keep running, jump, keep going, stop. Walk to Unlock Nebraska is for what grade of students? D, yes, K through 8th grade. All right, keep going, running, go right. Yes. Oh, yay. I mean, it is fun. It's supposed to be playing music. Yes. I don't know. I had that box open, but. It's okay. They want to keep running anyway. Right, guys? While they're doing that, you guys, any questions? Has anything popped in your head that you have any questions about or curious? Great question. So it really depends on the lesson and our partner. I would say anywhere between a half hour and an hour. Deb? Oh, just wait. You have to have this or our online people can't hear.
Or if you're like us and you add lots of extra little things, it could be a while because it is about physical activity. And so when we would put on a Go Noodle, we would sit before that and do part of the lesson. then do the go noodle, then sit again, then get up again. So I've extended it out an hour and a half before. So
It's yes. And like I said before, if you get to a spot and you're like, I don't really like this lesson or content that's provided, it's perfectly fine to do the overview of it and keep moving. The kids, they don't know. Or they did a great job, which we'll wait on that. But they did a great job of implementing other things of their own too. So I'll let her share some of it. So
I heard the bling.
I did too. Oh, we gained a level even though we didn't get done, you guys. Good work. I don't know what happened to my video. It works now. This was plugged in. Did I need to unplug that to make it work?
Yeah, the audio is going through HDMI.
Oh, that was it. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks for your patience, guys. Okay. Back to our field trip. Maybe. Okay, you know what to do. Now you get to hear. Can you hear it? Is it too quiet?
This is going to be the most awesome field trip ever! Run! Yo, MC Wiggle Walk! Ooh, start
Duck!
running. Hey, Penny G!
Left.
Answer this while running.
Walk to Unlock Nebraska can be utilized in what? A, after school clubs, B, organizational clubs, C, classrooms, D, all of above. D, all of above. We didn't talk about it.
Yes!
But
What was that?
running. But yeah, it can be used in Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, classrooms, after school. Jump! Jump! Left.
Answer this while
Walk
running.
to Unlock Nebraska will have blank trails after the next 2 years. A, 4 trails over the
You're
next 2
right.
years. Keep
We're
running.
field tripping. Switch it up. Pogo.
Oh.
Boing, boing, boing. Run.
Run.
Yo, Tangy Bodani. It's super
Dash.
rad. Ah, Shane Fonda. Answer this.
Question.
while
Walking
running.
is the only physical activity that counts to accumulate miles between checkpoints. True or false? Woo, you guys are genius.
Right.
Keep going. Run.
Little Rufus.
Jump.
Gulps water.
Left. Stop.
Answer this while running.
Walk to Unlock Nebraska. Curricular lessons have 3 focuses, which are A, B, C, or D. D, yes. Agriculture,
That's
nature,
right.
history. It's in our tagline. Keep running.
Switch it up. Kayak. Keep paddling. Run. Run, class, run. Answer this while running.
You must create a league to participate in Walk to Unlock Nebraska. True or false? False. You don't. You can have an individual
Right.
team. Oh, I think we're almost there, guys. Keep going.
MC Wiggle Wall.
Go.
Answer this while
Walk to
running.
Unlock Nebraska is for what grade of students? B. You guys got
You're
some of these
right.
twice since we had to mess up. Sorry. Run!
We're almost there. We're there! Today's field trip is to a potato.
I don't know what that means, the part, but the other part was fun, right? Right. You guys are on it. You've got the good basis. I'm going to let Deb come up from O'Neill and share her pieces.
Well, this is a picture of some of our kiddos that were here this summer to implement this program. So in the beginning, I asked Erika if I could add some of my pieces to this, and she said yes. And I said, I would like, I know we're doing this on the smart boards and pulling up all these videos and things, but I remember a map that we had used one particular summer. And I said, I think if we had a map of the trail, and so that every time the kids were not in the classroom and we were in a common area, if I had the map up, that no matter what grade you were in, you could go over to the map and see where we've been. And I think that was a particular really neat part of the program, because she did provide that map for us. And every day the kids would go over there and look and see, and they would ask me things like, where are we going today? When they walk in for breakfast in the morning, and that's the first thing they're asking me, is not what's for breakfast, but where are we going today? What are we going to do? Where are we going? The other thing that we added was the population of each town. I'm not sure why it was such a curiosity. I just added it with one town, and from then on, I had to have it for every town, because they wanted to know, how many people live in that town? What's that town look like? We actually even pulled pictures up of the different checkpoints. I can't even think of what town it was. And it was the closest town to that area for that checkpoint. And they wanted to see, because a lot of them have not been in that direction into those towns. Gosh, we pulled up so many different pictures and added to the program. And I just felt like they bought into that, and they were interested to go every single day. They were interested in all the physical activity, just like the video that we just did. They were more than interested to do that, and cheered. And when Erika came to ask some of the kids, the first thing they said, we love the physical activity and the Go Noodles that were included in this. And they could tell you some of them that happened. So trying to think of something else. Oh, the food. Some of the dairies that we went to, we made homemade ice cream. And so for snack that afternoon, we made homemade ice cream. Well, earlier that day, we made the homemade ice cream and froze it. And so then we ended up with homemade ice cream that afternoon. And they loved that part of it. We went to Neely, and that was specifically about the Neely Mills, and planned on making homemade bread. They wanted to see what that would be like. I have a friend who grinds her own wheat at her house, and some of them remembered that we had done that activity before. And so, just things like that you could add so easily. There were recipes included in it, in the program that we implemented, plus we implemented some of our own. I know at some of the checkpoints, I asked my staff, hey, do you know anything in the area that maybe isn't covered on this? And every day somebody was contributing to that. So it was very versatile to add our own things that made sense to us. I know when we started, O'Neill is on that northern trail. And that was a particular time in our town. General O'Neill founded our town, and our town was putting in a large statue of him. And so it just kind of clicked with the kids. Oh yeah, that's our town, and this is what we're doing. And many of them went and, looked at the statue and, just felt part of that, that process that day, I guess. So.
About how she implemented or anything like that.
Yeah.
Anything else? Deb's team, do you have anything? No. Okay. I put them on the spot. That's what happens, right? This last slide shows, and you can use a QR code if you'd like. We are recruiting schools and then also clubs for the spring semester to do this program. We have a few schools doing it. We have classrooms and clubs, after school clubs doing it this fall, that we're keeping it a little bit more narrow so that we can test out our website, because poor O'Neill, they had the paper version, really the email version, but they didn't have the fancy website that we have available now. But we want to make sure that all the glitches are out and provide any other resources that are needed or desired. So we're keeping the fall pilot a little bit tighter, but we're looking for clubs and schools for the spring semester. So be sure, if you're interested at all, there's the QR code. My email is there too. And these are the same flyers that are on the table. So if you need more flyers, you can. This is the teacher's guide. So if you want to take a stop and look at it, you can. But it has all of the different kind of lessons. So this one happens to be in agriculture in the classroom, and it has the lessons for the different age groups for that. So with that, I will ask for any questions, comments,